Judging often looks simple from the outside. A cat enters the ring, a judge compares it to the standard, and a decision is made. For many people watching, that moment feels neutral, almost technical. But judging is never just a single moment. Every decision made at the table does something much bigger than people realize. It shapes what breeders aim for next. It influences what exhibitors begin to believe is correct. And slowly, often without anyone noticing, it starts to guide the future direction of a breed. Judges don't just assess what stands in front of them, they reinforce what will be repeated. So if judging carries that kind of long-term influence, what does responsibility really mean when a judge places their hands on a cat and makes that choice?
Let's clear up one of the most common misunderstandings. Many people believe breed standards are technical manuals, as if judging is simply a matter of checking boxes. But breed standards were never written that way. They are descriptive frameworks. They describe balance, proportion, and overall impression, not exact measurements, and there's a reason for that. Living animals cannot be reduced to checklists without losing meaning. A cat is not a collection of isolated traits. It is a whole, and judging is not measurement. It is interpretation. Judging is interpretation, not measurement. Interpretation means reading the standard as a complete picture. It means understanding relationships, how structure supports movement, how proportions create balance, how expression, type, and function interact. Interpretation itself is unavoidable. The problem begins when interpretation becomes narrow, when judging slowly turns into rewarding the same details, again and again, while losing sight of the whole. And this is where long-term impact begins, because the future of a breed is not shaped by a single decision. A single final does not change a breed. Repetition shapes expectation. Repetition does. When similar types are rewarded again and again, they become visual reference points. Breeders are not irrational. They respond to what succeeds. Over time, preference becomes expectation. Expectation becomes normal. And normal begins to feel correct, even when it slowly drifts away from balance, function, and intent. This process is rarely intentional. Most judges are not trying to push extremes. They are responding to what appears competitive in front of them. But every repeated decision carries weight, not immediately, not dramatically, but cumulatively, and that weight matters.
So responsibility isn't just about knowing the standard, it's about understanding consequences. Because a cat can be correct on paper and still contribute to long-term imbalance if rewarded without reflection. This is where judging stops being just evaluation. It becomes something else. It becomes leadership, quiet leadership, through repetition and example. So what does that responsibility actually look like at the judging table?
This is where judging becomes uncomfortable, because responsibility does not mean avoiding excellence. It means understanding impact. A judge's role does not end with deciding which cat is better today. It extends to the message that decision sends to breeders, to exhibitors, and to other judges. The judging table is not a neutral space. The judging table is not neutral. It is where abstract standards become concrete signals. Every nomination, every comparison, every best in show, each one silently answers a question breeders are always asking: what should I aim for next? Judges who are unaware of this feedback loop surrender their influence to chance. Judges who recognize it can consciously anchor interpretation back to balance, health, and sustainability, without ever stepping outside the standard, because the standard already contains those priorities. What matters is how consistently and how consciously they are applied. This requires confidence, and it requires professional courage, because choosing moderation in a ring dominated by extremes often feels less dramatic. But leadership in judging does not mean rewarding what feels familiar. It means rewarding what is appropriate. Judges are often accused of creating trends. In reality, their more important role is stewardship. A steward does not chase novelty. A steward protects continuity. That means recognizing when interpretation has drifted and consciously anchoring decisions back to balance, function, and intent. The future of any breed is shaped less by written words than by how those words are applied over time. Judges who understand the weight of repetition, the power of example, and the importance of balance do more than evaluate cats. They lead quietly, consistently, responsibly. Every decision matters, not because it changes everything at once, but because it changes what will be repeated next.